So in the previous lesson, we found the volume of rectangular prisms as well as triangular prisms. Now we're going to find the volume of cylinders. The formula for finding the volume of a rectangular prism or a triangular prism was the area of the base times the height. Now, in a sense, that's also the formula you're using in a cylinder. But we remember the formula for the base is pi r squared. So that part stays the same, as well as the height multiplied by the height. So our formula for a cylinder, pi r squared times the height. So it's exactly like finding the area of a circle with one extra step. So if we're going to find the volume, we can put it in terms of pi, and then we can also estimate it. In this case, we're going to plug in what we know. Volume equals pi times the r. In this case, we have the r of 3 times the height of 8. Multiply 3 times 8, which gives us 24 pi. Now, if we're going to estimate the area, of course, we usually will substitute 3 and 14/100ths for pi. So we can multiply that. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 plus 1 is 5. 4 times 3 is 12. Hold my spot. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Add my totals. And that gives us then we need to remember to move the decimal over twice. 1, 2. So that gives us about 75 and 36/100ths inches cubed. Again, it's volume, so it's cubic inches. Don't forget to move that decimal. Let's look at another example. Now, in this case, it's important to remember the formula, pi r squared times the height. We're going to first put this in terms of pi, then we'll put it in terms of an estimate. We need to then plug in what we know. In this case, we again have the radius. If we had the diameter, we would just cut it in half. But in this case, we have a radius of 6, and we have a height of 5. So that gives us pi times 6 squared, which remember is 6 times 6, not 6 times 2, times the height of 5. Order of operations says we need to do our exponent first, so that would give us pi times 36 times 5. Thirty-six times 5 is going to give us 180. So my volume is 180 pi meters cubed. Now again, if we estimate, we can use 3.14 for pi. So we multiply that times 180. We remember that we have 2 decimal spaces, and we can start multiplying. 0, of course, times 3.14 is 0. Hold our spot. Then we have 8 times 4, which is 32. 8 times 1 plus 2 is 10. 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Hold my spot with 2 zeros, or 2 x's, and then multiply 1 times 4, 1 times 1, and 1 times 3. Then I'm going to add my totals together. Actually, we made a little error here. This should have been a 3, not a 2. So that would have made this step over here a 1 and not a 0. So that's good that we caught our error. Then we add up our totals. And move our decimal 1, 2 spots. So our volume is about 565 and 2/10 meters cubed. So as you can see, finding the volume of a cylinder is very similar to finding the area of a circle. Only difference is we have one extra step, and that's to multiply times the height.